Hello and welcome to Sobrix. I'm Adam and this is Sobrix. This is my channel for reviewing Lego sets and building them and other Lego related stuff. In this video, I'm going to be taking a look at the Lego Nexo Knights Ultimate Beastmaster set. This is set number 70334. It has 65 pieces, and I paid $20 for this set. So this is sealed. It is retired, as all Nexo Knights sets are. I think this was sealed. I want to say the tape is the right tape. So hopefully it's sealed. This is actually a character. I've covered a couple of these ultimate character things here. Lavaria and I can't remember, Lance maybe, and something else. But this is also a character that I've gotten in just sets before, so it'll be interesting to see the Ultimate Beastmaster in comparison to like the Beastmaster from the Chariot set, which is one of the earliest Nexo Knights sets I ever covered. So I'm interested to see that, and I'm looking forward to this. I think the market price for this is a little bit less than I paid. I paid $20. It seems like it might be able to be purchased around $10-15 into the $20 range for a new sealed version of this. Kind of depends on where you look. There's also a lot of listings that are right about where I paid. This would have retailed for $10 in 2016, which is when this came out. So kind of interesting to see that. I'm excited to look at this, and that's what we're going to do. So in this video, I'm going to open this up, I'm going to put this together, and then I'm going to share my thoughts on it. So while I build, I will speed the video up, and then I'll slow it back down to review this set. So until then, enjoy. Okay, so while we look at the build for this Lego Nexo Knights Ultimate Beastmaster set, I just wanted to say thanks for watching, and then remind you, if you like this video, click the thumbs up. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button. That helps me a lot. If you would like to support the channel, you can give money to the channel if you would like here on YouTube. Membership, suits, and thanks. There's a Patreon that's linked in the video description, patreon.com/Sobrix. And now on to my review for this set. Okay, so that is this Lego Nexo Knight Ultimate Beastmaster set. This is great. This is really good, and like the other kind of ultimate sets, they basically comprise of like a minifigure plus. It's kind of like a minifigure and accessories. I sort of have compared them to like the Ninjago quote-unquote gimmick sets that'll be like a figure and a spinner or a flyer, or also I've compared these a little bit to the Chima Speedors sets, where there's like a little bit of a extra thing. There's like the Lego, the building, the minifigure, but then there's also like a game or certain stuff going on. And for Nexo Knights, it had one of the things that was, I think, somewhat mixed reality or augmented reality, or just that there was like a digital game version of this stuff that did use elements from the physical sets in the game. So I think that's really interesting, and we will just get right into this, and the first thing we will look at is the minifigure. That's a big part of this, so it's sort of a minifigure plus, and that is the Ultimate Beastmaster. Like I said, I did have a Beastmaster figure, or I do have one that came in the, I think, the Beastmaster's Chariot set. That was a set that I really, really liked. It was one of the earliest Nexo Knights sets I ever looked at, and so I do have a version of this character, but this is really cool. Right now they are in their like ultimate form, and there's some sort of references to the Beastmaster here and some of their other sets, which I appreciate, but I'm actually going to take away some of this stuff so we can see and get a better look at the minifigure itself, just based on that. I was a little bit concerned because I was worried about some of these parts, especially minifigure parts that might be brittle brown. I'm not sure if I encountered any here, so that is good. I'll just take off this for now, and we can look at the character. They do have the like drill piece here, which is just one of those kind of horn or pearl gold kind of drill type pieces, and then one of these covers for the minifigure hands there. So we get that. Then we get the other accessory here, which is a shield, which makes use of the Nexo shield tiles. This one is printed, and it is the Globlin attack power. That is easy enough to put on. It's actually on a translucent Nexo shield tile there in red, and then it has the printing on there. The printing looks pretty good. It helps that it's like a translucent plastic behind there and everything, so that is very cool. And then the actual piece that it's on, like the shield piece, has a couple of spots up here where we could put things in. Those are like bar sized holes up there that we could fit stuff in. We got the handle at the back. There's a couple studs at the back as well, and then there's just one stud in the center that can kind of frame that up. It has sort of this rocky black kind of lava-ish looking appearance. The ones that would be this could be compared to are the Nexo Knights ones, which just look more formally like a knight thing. They don't have this same sort of organic texture of kind of that rock face going there, so that's really interesting. Look at the figure itself. I think this is actually pretty similar to the one that, or the same as the one that's in the Chariot set. They have a hood like piece here instead of a hair piece, so it's got kind of a little spot coming down there, some nice texture for the different folds and everything in the hood, and then the face is open. It's kind of like a helmet, but it is a hood. This character is really interesting. Face is very good, has a lot of detail on it. So it does have an eye patch. It has some like 5 o'clock shadow or some stubble there, and some interesting like kind of pigmentation on the skin, some nice detail around the eye that is visible. The mouth is really good there as well, and this does have an alternate face, so this is maybe more of a smile or a smirk here. So the mouth is a little different. We can see the eyebrow peeking up there, which is a little bit unique as well. I mean, on the other face, this kind of grimace here, the eyebrow is a little bit obscured by the strap for the eye patch, and this one just barely peeks over the top. For this one, the eyebrows are a lot different, and we kind of have like a crooked smile going on there, so good to get those alternate faces. Looking at the torso, because this is one of these sort of chaos character, antagonist type characters here, the Beastmaster, they don't have like clothes as much as some of the other characters do. So looking at the torso, we can see some of like the musculature there. I believe they're supposed to be kind of lava, kind of goblin kind of things. There's a real element of that throughout these. So we do see some of like their skin sort of texture, which is this red kind of color there, as well as some of their like musculature. And then they have this sort of harness armor here with like the rivets going across there, maybe some like leather. And then the center in the silver there has a really nice kind of frowny looking face, which that is a Globlin kind of emblem looking there, which is very cool. We do have printing on the midsection, which is great for the belt, and then we have printing on the legs up at the top, in the middle, and on the feet. So we get additional kind of Globlin looking knee pads here, a little bit kind of extending down beneath that, and then the kind of silver claws for toes for the feet. So really good detail there. Back of the torso is similar, but it has a slightly different expression for the Globlin on the harness on the back. back. The kind of musculature is different, so we can see kind of more of the shoulders versus where we could see like the abdominals and the pectorals and stuff like that. So that's a little bit different. No printing on the arms, but that's okay. I think this is a great figure. It's really detailed. I like all the metallic stuff in here, which is nice. Glad to see, you know, printing on the midsection there, printing all the way through. I think the printing for the legs, just how the two kind of Globlin knee pad things or the armor there up at the top is printed on the kind of rounded part of the minifigure leg, and then the kind of extension below is on the flat part. It looks like they're maybe misaligned a little bit, so that could have been produced a little bit better. It's not terrible, but it's not great. There is some asymmetry there, and like the well, I want to say like the front and the back of the torso, these two little faces on the legs are also distinct. They're different from one another, which is really, really cool. So that is the majority of the Beastmaster here, but I will show this extra kind of accessory. So this is a Beastmaster, what would they call this? It is a kind of a mace, or no, not a mace, maybe like a flail, like a double flail type contraption here. So it goes around the minifigure neck, and then at the backside we have this little subassembly using the orange translucent, a couple 1x1 bricks with the Technicolor, a couple orange translucent plates in there, and then the kind of backpack piece. And then we make the contraption over here, which uses Technic pins to go in there. We got a little bit of a gear here. Bring this up to make this kind of T-post. We use the shorter gold kind of chains, and at the end of those we have these Globlin orbs. These are printed and they are unique. These aren't the same print, so you can see one's mouth is a little bit open, one's mouth is more closed, as well as kind of the lava kind of color, the spotting going on just beneath the mouth. Those are different, same up at the top. So distinct kind of prints here, which is very cool. I really appreciated that about the Globlins. They had different prints for discs that went in like disc launchers, the 2x2 round discs. They had different kind of Globlin printed pieces for this, which is really cool. So I liked that. And the Beastmaster kind of chariot had two like bigger Globlins at the front, which were sort of like the horses or the creatures that were pulling the chariot behind it, and those had unique printings as well from one another, and they're probably similar to this in some way. So that is really cool to see that. So nice to get those prints. And then this can go, like I said, around the minifigure head, and then we can spin this around and making use of that gear there, and kind of make those flail type things flail around. If I put the head of the minifigure back on, get them like this does also come down right to the bottom of the feet, so can give it some extra stability. Can also stud it down with more studs. It balances fine. You could theoretically take this whole subassembly for the kind of T-bar contraption with the flails there and put that on the other side. There is still the Technic pinholes there, and it only goes in half of the way, so you could swap that around. And then with this here, we can see we can kind of spin this around, and because of the, is it centrifugal or centripetal, I never remember which is which, force, these will kind of flay out, spread out a little bit, and have an increased kind of range of attack there, and that is pretty fun. I'm very happy with how well this works, and the pieces aren't flying off or anything like that, so that's really, really cool. So good to get that kind of accessory there, as well as the shield and the kind of additional kind of drill mill hand piece here, which is nice. And then the rest of the set is this kind of display stand, which is again common, or the standard for these Nexo Knight kind of ultimate versions of characters. And they remind me in some ways, and I've talked about this because of I've been covering them around the same time, but there's some similarities to like the Lego Star Wars Planet series, where there's kind of like a display stand and then a minifigure and then some other building stuff. So display stands come together pretty easily. They're very much the same across at least all of the ultimate character Nexo Knight sets that I've encountered. We use some of these kind of A plates there to kind of get a nice angle, and we build out with little sub-assemblies on the side. In this case, because this is one of like I don't know if it's Infernox, or I think that's like a character. No, well, Infernox is like a character, but there's like Magestro or Gestro or something like that. There's like kind of what I think are like the evil kind of lava faction, which is in opposition to maybe the Nexo Knight sort of, or Merlin library thing. This is like Book of Chaos thing, and these kind of groups I think are in opposition here. So like those, we use this really nice translucent orange kind of molded rock face piece there, which is super cool. Like that a lot. We do make use of some brown in here. I thought this would be brittle brown. It may be. I did not experience any cracking when I put those pieces on, at least not right now. It could be if I really like press them down more that they would crack, but I tried to be a little bit delicate. And actually, if you look here, this jumper, this 2x2 jumper is maybe not pressed down all the way. We can kind of see these studs underneath. I think that's true over here as well. The 1x2 brick at the back, you can see less of that, but sometimes when I am suspect about brittle brown, I don't, really force the pieces together, because sometimes that will make them crack there. And then we kind of have an area for the character to stand here, something like that, and I think that looks pretty cool, so they can kind of be on display. And then we have some additional accessories throughout this. So over on the one side, we have a little kind of angled plate extension over here. We have the hinge piece, and that is where we attach another of the Nexo Knight shield tiles, and this is one of the other things that could be scanned in to the game. And this one is for the spirit vortex and the kind of force field vortex shield. So this is another Beastmaster accessory that could be used. It's got this really nice, I think translucent blue, but could be purple, kind of disc piece here, and then it has the printing of kind of this it's like white and blue and silver. It kind of looks like energy, electricity. It's kind of a spiral. Maybe it's sort of ectoplasmic or something else there, which is really cool. And we can have this in their hand. So that's kind of a force field shield there, which is very cool. And maybe it can be used as like a separate attack. The spirit vortex, I'm assuming, is has some similar looks to this, and is something else maybe emanating from the shield. So maybe the kind of spinning spiral stuff kind of emanates out from that and creates a vortex that can blow somebody away or whatever else. So we could swap out the Globlin attack printed Nexo Knight shield for the Spirit Vortex one, and then we have a spot for the accessories to stand there. I think this is a little bit interesting because I like that these try to have space for placing the accessories that are not in use, and I think this one does an okay job of that. Let me see if the instructions show anything. So in the instructions, in this case, it has them wielding the shield there, which I guess makes sense because then you swap out the printed shield tile piece on the front as well as the vortex force field thing. So that is really cool. And it has them, you know, keeping their kind of flail contraption on the back. I think because this has the plate there, we could separate that out. It could be studded down just in place of where the minifigure is if the minifigure was going to be out and about making use of this accessory over here. So that is perfectly fine, but also this could just be something that is on the character all the time. So that's kind of the spirit vortex and the extra accessory over there. If we had this, you know, off, we could put the sort of other accessory over here, I want to say. Actually, you may not be able to just because it's yeah, maybe you can't clip this in. So we would have to get, you know, a little more creative. You could put it there, I don't know, just to have like an extra accessory that's not in use, like stored somewhere on the stand, I think is important. I don't know if there's a specific place that's intended to hold this, but there are ways you can get that to still be attached there, which is good. And then on the other side, we have some other accessories, which are like some throwables, which are these bundles of dynamite. So we have a couple of these. These can be put in the character's hands or in the Beastmaster's hand or something, so we can get that there. I was a little bit concerned because if these minifigure hands are brittle brown when you're putting things in there and taking them out quite often, switching accessories, and they crack, that is a problem. I do not believe this cracked. I think that is just a mold mark. So I want to say so far these are fine. With the dynamite kind of bundles, it's okay because they're a little bit softer than a lot of other things that might go in the mini figure's hands, just slightly. So we get that, and then we do have another one of these Nexo powers here, which we can throw on there again on the translucent tile. This one I think is yellow. This one is like clear or white, and this one is called Dynamite. So like dynamite, but then Mighty. So it's Dynamite, and is another Nexo power that, you know, could be scanned in with the app that I believe is no longer in service or available, but at the time that could have been, you know, scanned in to use in the game. And again, in this we do see here the Beastmaster, they still have their whole contraption on their back, as well as the shield piece with the swapping out of the Nexo power disc or tile kind of thing there. So that is very cool as well. And then on the other side, we just have a couple clips back here, which are used to hold the dynamite when they are not in use. And that's kind of everything that's in this set. So you get a sort of souped up ultimate version of a minifigure. They might have, you know, it for Lavaria, they had, you know, this whole like walking kind of spider leg thing. For I think the other one I looked at was maybe Lance, and they had, you know, a much bigger Lance and some other stuff going on. I think they had, well, they might have had like some wing kind of flying glider jetpack type attachment or something like that, as well as some other accessories and the Nexo powers. So it's pretty common you get like a stand, a minifigure that's like an ultimate version of the minifigure, as well as multiple of these Nexo powers and corresponding accessories there. And that is pretty cool. I think this looks great. It's got a nice little displayability to it, because everything's kind of you know, it's here for storage, for play, I guess, a little bit, but these just are a nice looking small footprint kind of stand that the figures can be displayed on, which I think is really quite nice. And that's one of the things that reminds me of the Star Wars Planet series there. So that is very good. And I think this looks pretty cool. This is a character that I think is really interesting and fun, and I think they're represented here well. And I like how like the flail sort of thing here sort of has an element to it that evokes the kind of chariot set that I've already looked at. So that's nice thematic consistency there. We do have some extra pieces, so I'll show those. The kind of T-bar piece, the half pin with the open stud, the clip piece, this kind of Technic bushing type piece, tube piece, and the drill piece there. So those are all the extra pieces. This set is 65 pieces, one minifigure, no stickers or anything like that, all prints. And I paid $20 for this set. It retailed for $10 in 2016, so we're going on 10 years almost for this. Nexo Knights as a theme is no longer around, and it does appear that in the aftermarket, this set sealed can be purchased for cheaper. Where I bought this from, which was like a major online auction place, I didn't get it in an auction. I got it in a buy it now, and I paid $19.99 for it or something like that, and I decided that was fine. I think for the Lavaria and some of the other Nexo Knight Ultimate thing sets that I've looked at, Ultimate character sets or kind of these gimmick sets that I've looked at, and ones that I haven't, have been around the same price that I've paid. I am at peace with that. It's not the best deal. It's not even the best deal for this set right now. This retailing for $10, I actually think is really a pretty good value, and it has this nice kind of mix. Like, this is just kind of an expansion thing. It's not quite like a gimmick for Ninjago or the speed ores, because I think this is easier to integrate into other Lego Nexo Knight play and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. But the concept of having like a figure and a small kind of build and some accessories and stuff for a little bit more than the cost of a polybag right now, or a collectible minifigure, feels right to me. So I think $10 for this is actually kind of fair. Paying double that, paying $20 for this in 2025 feels not as good. The price per piece isn't very good. I don't think there's anything in here that's like particularly valuable, because the app for the Murloc 2.0 Nexo Knight app or whatever is, I don't believe, supported anymore, and probably no longer functional unless you're maybe on Android. You can like maybe side load it or something like that. I'm not 100% sure. I use an iPhone, so I don't believe there's any way, unless I jailbreak my iPhone to order to get the app. It may be if the Lego group and whoever developed the app stopped supporting it after they retired the theme. It's probably a little more hassle than it's worth to get the app and play whatever game is there, and there's maybe some more risks involved in that, because Lego does not have support for that stuff. So there's maybe some value in that, but I think in 2025 I don't see it as very likely that people are buying up all of these Nexo Knight Shield power pieces for to play the game. Maybe there's some other collectability to it, some other reason. And so I haven't looked into if those pieces are valuable or if this figure itself is valuable. I kind of doubt it, but I really like these. I'm going to keep, adding these ultimate characters from the Nexo Knight themes to my collection, because I really enjoy them, and they're small and they're good looking and they're fun, and they're relatively affordable. And it's nice to go back and look at some retired stuff. Here we have, lots of printed pieces. I think this piece is actually really, really cool, and the print quality is nice. So I know that's maybe specific to the theme and the specific power here, but I could see this piece with this print being used for other stuff. So that is kind of cool. I think the Nexo Knight shield tiles are a little bit more specific and harder to integrate into mock builds or other themes. So it's a little bit different, but this one, I don't know if there's anything like super crazy specific to Nexo Knights here that makes me think I couldn't use this disc piece with the printing in Star Wars Ninjago or any other, Dreams or any other thing, or in a mock of some sort. So I actually think that is pretty cool to get that there. Overall value is fine. This doesn't feel like $20 worth of Lego, but that is what I paid for, and I am happy with that. So that is okay, and I think that's it. I like it. If you like this video, please click the thumbs up and give it a like. If you like my other videos, click the subscribe button down below so you can stay up to date on all the Lego videos I'll be doing here in the future, including more Lego Nexo Knights, more ultimate characters, more gimmick sets, small sets, big sets, sets from all different themes, all different types of stuff, old sets, new sets, retired sets, used sets, lots of different stuff. So subscribe so you don't miss any of my upcoming Lego videos. We're really close to 2,000 subscribers as of recording this. So if you're not subscribed, maybe consider doing that. That helps me a lot if I get to or when we get to 2,000 subscribers. But if we get to 2,000 subscribers, I will be doing a giveaway. And once that's done, I'll make an announcement, and probably an announcement video going over the kind of rules and everything else in the timeline and all the specifics in order to make that available. So I'm looking forward to that. If you're not subscribed, maybe consider doing it. It helps me a lot. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. And then if you wanted to support the channel in a different way, you could do that here on YouTube with membership, supers, and thanks. You can give money to the channel if you would like. There's a Patreon. It's linked in the video description, patreon.com/sobricks. There is a buy me a coffee link in there where it's like you can send money to buy a coffee, or it's just another way of like financially supporting the channel if you like what the channel does and what I do here. And if you enjoy it and you get some value out of it and you want to give back, there's ways to do that. There's also affiliate links. There probably won't be one to buy this set unless there's like a affordable way to get this from a major retailer, but there'll be other affiliate links, and those are another way to support the channel. If you buy something that you were going to buy anyway at no additional cost to you, I might get a small percentage kicked back to me, which is kind of neat and something else I'm trying. Every little bit helps, so thank you very much. And with all that said, until next time, thanks, bye.